Alright class, so now we're moving on to equations and inequalities, which should be a lot like your algebraic expressions. Equations and inequalities come in really handy if, say, you ever want to go on vacation to another country and you need to exchange your currency, and that's the money that you're taking because they might use a different type of money in that country. Well, the amount of money you get in the new currency depends on how many US dollars you start with and also on the currency exchange rate. So our objectives are we're going to solve equations in one variable. Your vocabulary that you need to write down is you need to have an equation. That's a statement that two mathematical expressions are equal. And solution is a value that makes an equation or inequality true when substituted for the variable, which you guys know what substitution means already. Alright, so we're going to start using substitution to solve algebraic equations. So what we would do is we would find values that would make this statement true. So say if x were equal to 1, well, we would substitute in 1 plus 5 is equal to 8. Well, no, 1 plus 5 is 6, so x is not equal to 1. So if x were equal to 2, we would substitute in 2 for x, and we'd say 2 plus 5 equals 8. Well, it doesn't. 2 plus 5 is 7, so x cannot be equal to 2. So we would say x could be equal to 3, and then we'd substitute 3 for x and say 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. Well, that is true, so x must be equal to 3. Same thing on this equation right here. What we're going to do is we're going to substitute. This is 3 times x equals 12. So we would say, well, so we would say if x is equal to 1, that would be 3 times 1 equals 12. Well, that's not true. 3 times 1 is 3. So we would say x could be equal to 2. So we'd say 3 times 2 equals 12. Well, that's not true because 3 times 2 is 6, so x is not equal to 2. So we'd substitute in 3 and say, well, 3 times 3 is equal to 12. But no, it isn't. 3 times 3 is 9. And so we'd substitute in 4 for x and say 3 times 4 is equal to 12, and that is true, so x is equal to 4, so our solution is 4. And if you're wondering if there's an easier way to do this, of course there is. So what we do in algebra is we treat our equation like it's on a balance scale. So here you've got the fulcrum, and that fulcrum is like your equal sign. So you've got your equal sign here in between each of your values. So here I have x, and then I have 6 units, so that's x plus 6 is equal to, and then I have 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 6 and get x all by itself, so that way I can figure out what x is equal to. So now here I have x is equal to 9. But as you can see, that tipped my balance scale. This side went down because I subtracted 6 from here, but I didn't do anything over here. So now my equation isn't balanced. So what I would do is, to keep it balanced, I would subtract 6 from the other side, and now I have x is equal to 3. And so now if I go back into my original equation and substitute, I have 3 plus 6 equals 9, and that is true, so x is equal to 3. This works the same way with addition. So right here I have 6 equals, and this is x minus 3. I have some units and I'm taking away 3 of them. So again, to solve this equation, what I'm going to do is to get x by itself over on this side, I'm going to add 3. But because I added on this side of the equation, I need to add on the other side of my equal sign where my fulcrum is. So I'm going to add 3 here. And now I have 6 plus 3 is 9, which is equal to x. And as you guys can see, if we were to plug that back in, 6 is equal to 9 minus 3. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one over here. We have this equation. It says x plus 8 equals 19. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 8 here to get x by itself. So now I have x equals, but I have to subtract 8 here to keep my equation balanced. So 19 minus 8 is 11. And again, if we were to substitute, 11 plus 8 does give us 19. Alright, so now you guys try it. Go ahead and write these down, pause it, and see if you get the correct answer. So on the first one I have f plus 5 equals 14. I'm going to subtract 5 on this side of my equation. Now I have f equals, but I have to subtract 5 on this side. So now I have 9, and 9 plus 5 is 14. So let me go ahead and solve. 26 equals g plus 11. So I'm going to subtract 11 from this side of my equation and get g all by itself. But then I need to subtract 11 from this side of my equation, and I get 15, and 26 is equal to 15 plus 11. Alright, I have w minus 6 equals 10. So again, I'm going to add 6 here and get w all by itself. So I'm going to add 6 here, and I get 16, and 16 minus 6 is equal to 10. And finally I have z minus 9 equals 21. So I'm going to add 9 here and get z all by itself. I'm going to add 9 here, and that's 30, and 30 minus 9 is 21. Alright, this works the same way actually with multiplication and division. If you look at the picture here, again the fulcrum is our equal sign. I have 2x this time is equal to, and then I have 12 units. So that's 2x is equal to 12. Well, what I did here was to get rid of one of my x's, I divided by 2. So now I just have x equals 12. But again, you can see what that did to my balance scale. Now I'm not balanced out because I divided by 2 on one side. So now I have to divide by 2 on the other side. And I get x is equal to 6. And sure enough, 2 times 6 is equal to 12. Alright, and again, the same way with division. We have y, which is something, and we're going to divide it by 3. And we're saying that that's equal to 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 3. And that gives me y equals, but then I need to multiply by 3 here. And 4 times 3 is 12. So again, if I were to substitute, 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. Alright, so again, let's have you guys try it. Go ahead and pause it. Remember, if it says 6a equals 42, we need to divide on both sides. But when it's division, we need to multiply on both sides. So pause these and give it your best shot. Alright, so on the first one I have 6a equals 42. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 6, and that gives me a equals, and I'm going to divide by 6 here, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. So if we were to substitute 6a and substitute in 7 for a, 6 times 7 is 42. Same thing here, I have m divided by 8 equals 9. So I'm going to multiply by 8 to give me m by itself, but then I need to multiply by 8, and 9 times 8 is 72. And sure enough, 72 divided by 8 gives me 9. And then I have 65 equals 13b. So again, I'm going to divide by 13 and get b all by itself. So I'm going to divide by 13 here. And 65 divided by 13 gives me 5. Alright, last one, 12 equals n divided by 7. So I'm going to multiply by 7 and get n by itself. So then I multiply by 7 here. And 7 times 12 is 84. Alright, now it says solve the equation x plus 1/10 equals 3/10. Write your answer in simplest form. So guys, this one works the exact same way. Since I'm adding 1/10 to x, if I take away 1/10 here, then that gives me x by itself. And if I do 3/10 minus 1/10, well, that's 2/10. Okay, but they want it in simplest form. So what I would do is I would divide by a common factor of 2, and I would say x is equal to 1/5. Alright, and then we have this equation. They want us to find the solution to 3y equals 2/3. So again, this is 3y, or 3 times y, so I'm going to divide by 3. And so I have to divide by 3 here. Well, you guys already know how to do 2/3 divided by 3. That's just going to be keep, change, flip. So 2/3 times 1/3, and that's 2/9. So the solution should be y is equal to 2/9. Alright, you guys go ahead and try these. So it says solve each equation. First tell which operation you will perform on each side of the equation. Write your answer in simplest form. Well, when I'm looking at k plus 1/8 equals 7/8, the first operation I'm going to perform is subtraction. And I'm going to subtract 1/8 from both sides. So 7/8 minus 1/8, that's 6/8. And of course, 1/8 minus 1/8 leaves me just k on this side. So k is equal to 6/8, but they want simplest form. So I'm dividing by a common factor of 2, and I get k is equal to 3/4. Alright, and then I have 4p divided by 3/4. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to divide, or do division. And I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So now p is equal to 3/4 divided by 4. So now I'm going to keep, change, flip. So 3/4 times 1/4 is equal to 3/16. So p is equal to 3/16 is the solution. Alright guys, make sure that you write down any questions that you have so that we can discuss these tomorrow, and I will see you then.